At the age of 27, Jing Gao, who can still catch the tale of his youth, gets an unlimited bank card. A wonderful life begins here. But he found that a true God cannot just throw money, but needs to improve oneself in all aspects. Keywords of the novel. How I Became a God of Wealth Without Pop-ups, How I Became a God of Wealth Complete Collection Download, How I Became a God of Wealth Latest Chapter Reading. Chapter 1. Whose Responsibility? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Whose Responsibility? Host detected. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the Life Experience gift package, rewarding 1 diamond card. The amount is unlimited. Note 1. There is no risk associated with bank card transfers and consumption, and it is green, energy-saving, and environmentally friendly. The final interpretation rights belong to the Blue Star Shinhao system. Ding! The red diamond card has been placed in the host's wallet. Wishing you a pleasant experience. Jing Gao stood on the road in the capital, looking bewildered as he listened to the system prompt in his mind. My heart was like scratching a cat, wanting to immediately take out my wallet from my pocket and check it. Today in 2016, online novels have become very popular. He is very familiar with this unlimited card trick. In his 27-year life, he has always been non-feudal and non-superstitious, emphasizing 4 beauties, 8 honors and 8 shames, loving life, and following the rules of elementary school students. But at this moment, this kind of prompt sounded directly in his mind, and his solid worldview was slightly shaken. There is really an infinite card in hand, isn't it fragrant? He is still renting a house in the capital since graduation. I just received a text message from the butler of a long-term apartment yesterday, stating that the rent will increase by 500 next month. If I don't accept it, I will move out. But he can't take out his wallet now. Because in front of him stood his project manager, who was cursing. Without any modifiers or pronouns, this is the most straightforward and accurate description. Standing on the street together and being scolded, there were also 3 other colleagues from the temporary project team. 2 men and 1 woman. What's the use of the company's special support for you? Ah. You can't handle any small things well. Don't even think about this month's bonus. Wait until the end of the year to get eliminated. The project manager, surnamed Luo, is a 34-year-old chubby man with a big face like a cake. He was so tired of scolding that he angrily pulled the tie around his neck, opened the car door of the Crown waiting by the roadside, and turned around angrily, saying, "Come to work early tomorrow." Grass. The residual tone of cursing drifted in the faint dusk of the streets of Beijing, and the lanterns were lit up. At the beginning of April, street people all wore thin clothes to showcase the fashion of this city. The oldest member of the temporary project team, Old Wu, casually patted his suit, as if trying to shake off manager Luo's drool and bad luck. He said nonchalantly, "Let's go." He is 31 years old and has been a senior employee of Hake Company for 7 years. A veteran. Jing Gao and his companions followed him into the Harvard H6 parked on the street. Hake Company is not located here on Qingnian Road in Xiyang District, but in Shunning District, several tens of kilometers away. They all live in Shunning District. We need to go back first and then go back to our respective homes. The manager drives the Crown, while the employees ride the domestically produced miracle car. No problem. The 2 cars slowly started. The bustling night scenery outside the car window glides like floating lights and shadows. Jing Gao looked out the window at the shimmering Longhu building in the distance, and with a complex expression, took out his wallet. Hake Company is a small food e-commerce company specializing in the production of fried chestnuts, peanuts and other foods. Henghu Pharmaceutical Group, located in Longhu Building, recently publicly tendered a batch of food suppliers and formed a temporary project team to bid. After a month of hard work, bidding, quality inspection, and other procedures. Today, the deputy procurement manager of Henghu interviewed them and brought out a document and photo, which showed that the hygiene in the production process of hake was seriously not up to standard. The meaning is to ask them to voluntarily withdraw from the bidding 2 days later. So, just now Lao Luo angrily cursed at them. Bidding is not just a price war, sometimes it also involves external bidding. I want a life in full bloom, like flying in the vast sky. There is a rock with leather pants in the car. Jing Gao withdrew his thoughts and his gaze fell on a red bank card in his wallet. His heart suddenly throbbed violently. Dong, dong, dong. So, the prompt sound just now was not an illusion he had when he was scolded by Lao Luo, but was it true? What does it mean to have an unlimited amount and use a secure bank card? Buy 2 bowls of soybean milk for breakfast, pour 1 bowl into another bowl, luxury houses and luxury cars, and car model stars come every night by turns. This is a common trick. I like it. Also, what other tricks are there in online articles? Jing Gao squinted his eyes and leaned against the seat, feeling his heart beating faster. His brain was so excited that his scalp felt a bit numb. Old Wu, who was driving, glanced at Jing Gao and reminded him, "A few of you, losing the bonus is a small matter. We need to take the elimination of the last place seriously. This business deal has competitors causing trouble, and we need to work hard in the second half of the year." As a veteran, he is very clear about many things. There are 2 colleagues sitting in the back row, and the man's name is Tian Yi. The woman's name is Tang Yunhan. At the age of 20.4, Tang Yunhan was tall and dressed appropriately in a black suit and white shirt, with a hint of mature beauty. He frowned and said, "Angkor, as the tour guide, I was diligent and responsible. If anything goes wrong, it's quality control." Speaking, I glanced at Takao Inoue. In this temporary project team, Jing Gao is responsible for quality control and food packaging design. Tian Yi, a salesperson, glanced at Tang Mimi and agreed, "Jing Gong, it's not me talking about you. If there is a problem with quality control, you cannot shirk your responsibility. I suggest you proactively send an email to Luo Jingli to explain, so as not to implicate everyone." Tang Yunhan muttered, "That's it," in a low voice, but make sure the well in the front row can hear it. Her salary received a large proportion of the prize money. Jing Gao's good mood came to an abrupt end, feeling tired and crooked in his heart. Firstly, his position at Hake Company is as an artist and designer. Quality control, he just put a name on the project team. He has no control over how the company's products are doing. Secondly, Lao Wu is responsible for the production process. He actually has more say in quality control. However, the 2 goods behind did not dare to make trouble with Lao Wu, an old fogey, and they aimed their spears at him. Finally, these 2 goods seem to be at odds and venting their grievances. Actually, it's asking him to take responsibility alone. In other words, he is required to claim the last elimination spot at the end of the year. Jing Gao turned around and looked at the man and woman, saying word for word, "The responsibility is shared by the project team. Whoever wants to send an email to Luo Jingli to take responsibility can do it themselves. Lao Wu, stop at the intersection ahead. I have something to do." A few minutes later, Harvard H6 stopped by the roadside, and Inoue got off the passenger seat, closed the car door, and merged into the darkness. The 3 people in the car looked at each other. They didn't understand why Inoue suddenly became so tough. In this month's cooperation, Jing Gao has a very good temper and is kind to others. If Jing Gao is a thorn in the head, how dare they force him to do so without agreement? Tian Yi couldn't hold his breath and snorted coldly, how dare he be a graduate of a second-tier university? What achievements does he have in the company? We'll see who Manager Luo can eliminate at the end of the year. Angkor and Yunhan, let's have dinner together tonight. Old Wu smiled and said, "Young people, eat it." His heart was slightly gloomy. This order is already yellow, someone must take responsibility. In the workplace, friends who die will never die from poverty. He doesn't have any psychological disorders. If he really loses his job, who will take care of his wife and children? Who pays off the mortgage? But what's wrong with this small well? You look very confident. P.S. Some place names and school names have been modified. Please understand. New books for collection. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Truly Infinite. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Truly infinite. On the night of early April, the spring breeze in the capital was intoxicating, and the street lamps and tall buildings on the roadside complemented each other. This brilliant metropolis. Jing Gao draped his cheap suit jacket over his shoulders and walked along the pedestrian street with his hands in his pockets. The tree's shadow occasionally falls on his lonely cheek. He was struggling in the college entrance examination and could only attend a second-tier university in the end. He also admired the charm of the capital, so he came to the capital to study. The next life can be imagined. He has gone through too many life's ups and downs, and has changed jobs after graduation. So, he tries his best to be kind to others in his work. Being targeted by colleagues, his current mood may be angry, but more importantly, he feels nauseous. Do you still talk about the most basic fairness? He felt the deep malice in this world. Mr. Zhou Shuren said. This society is only kind to the wealthy. If you are a poor person, even your breathing is wrong. Jing Gao exhaled a mouthful of turbid air, and he may now have the qualification to breathe. Take out the red card from your wallet and put it in your shirt pocket, then walk towards the CBD called Taiku Hui, on your right. He needs to verify how much money is in this card before thinking about his future. There are many tricks in online literature. He believes that this red card is most likely a true unlimited card, but what if? Living to this age, there is still some stability. The lights in Taiku Hui are brightly lit, and the melodious light music plays in the hall, creating a relaxed and comfortable shopping atmosphere. Jing Gao found China Merchants Bank 24-hour bank at the entrance on the side of the mall. There happened to be someone withdrawing money inside. He waited for a moment and walked into a small compartment, inserting the red card into the ATM. It was completely different from what he had imagined. The ATM machine did not have a password input interface and displayed the operation interface directly. Jing Gao clicked the balance button. Searching. Balance. 1000. Jing Gao looked at the series of seemingly garbled zeros behind 1 and took a deep breath, hiss. The remaining 5% worry in my heart completely disappeared. At the same time, due to the increase in blood pressure, I feel a bit dizzy, which leads to an unreal feeling. The impact of this series of zeros on him is a bit strong. Jing Gao slowed down and first transferred 10 million yuan to his commonly used Universe Bank card. Ding! Instantly, the text message prompts the audio system. Jing Gao took out his Huawei Honor 1000 yuan phone from his pocket. The text message content is displayed on the screen. On April 5 at 18.32, your card ending in number 0013 received Industrial and Commercial Bank of China's income, interbank remittance, of 10 million yuan, with a balance of 10 million yuan. Industrial and Commercial Bank of China 10 million. That's it. Easily received. Inoue took a deep breath, calmed down his emotions, and walked out of the small compartment. I can feel the gentle spring evening breeze blowing towards me. The square outside Taiku Hui is bustling with pedestrians, and the wide-screen billboards on the square are constantly changing in light and shadow. At this moment, I only feel that the night view of Beijing is really beautiful. Jing Gao suddenly felt like smoking a cigarette. A moment ago, he was still an ordinary and struggling member of this vast and bustling city, and now he has financial freedom. Moreover, it's not a tycoon or a billionaire, it's a god of wealth. It seems that some kind of heavy burden on the body is suddenly released. Leave endless joy and a sense of relaxation. This feeling is really great. Who doesn't want to be a wealthy person in this big city? Money is a bastard, talking about money is very vulgar. But without this thing, becoming a layman is just a luxury. Jing Gao draped his coat around his arm and walked towards Taiku Hui with his phone in hand. Let's have dinner first. He has a rough idea about his future. I definitely have to quit my job. Manager Luo spoke harshly. He had a falling out with those three goods face just now, and he has no intention of continuing this job. However, being eliminated from the bottom and voluntarily resigning are two different things. Leaving behind a fault and leaving with compensation are also two different things. Even if he wants to leave, he cannot be squeezed out by his colleagues due to a work error. Shaming oneself is one thing, and it is even more difficult to calm one's heart. He will go tomorrow to secure a $1 million order from Henghu Pharmaceutical Group and leave Hake with respect. If it were before, he wouldn't have thought about it. What does he use to persuade the people of Henghu Medicine, being a livestock member? His ending is definitely forced to resign. Of course, before that, he would expose the bribery of the salesperson and Lao Wu's secret use of company channels to sell the goods. Now it will naturally be different. As for those few goods, a mocking smile appeared at the corner of Jing Gao's mouth. He is willing to be kind to others, which does not mean he will be united against others, but he will also have to endure everything. At dinner time, the first floor of Taiku Hui is bustling with bright lights shining on the spotless floor, creating a comfortable and clean shopping atmosphere. Jing Gao took out his phone and searched on Meituan. He went to Heideleo on the 4th floor and got a seat number. Next, I bought a pancake to fill my stomach. Sir, please take your pancake with eggs. Thank you. Buy another cup of Naishua milk tea, finish the pancakes, and scan the QR code. The phone shows that there is still one person in front. He gets up and goes to the 4th floor. Just a moment later, I was taken to my seat by the enthusiastic young lady. Sir, this way, please. The per capita consumption of Hai Di Lao is about 200 yuan. With his previous monthly salary of 5K, it's rare for him to come and eat it. Now, I have a small sum of money in my pocket. Those big meals and delicacies usually require advance reservations. He won't be able to eat it either. And eating alone doesn't create much atmosphere. He doesn't do food tasks again. Jing Gao ordered good dishes, and the waiter helped to cook the dishes. The service was attentive and satisfactory. He ate slowly and browsed his social media with his phone. The first update was just posted by roommate Xian. I've been heartbroken. Please comfort me. Attached is an internal photo of the Mercedes-Benz GLE. This slutty guy. It is clear that it is seeking a contract, and it is still willing to take the bait. Xie Dashao's family is doing some small business in Beijing and has 3 or 4 properties, right? In addition, he has a good appearance, and according to the rating in the online article, he can give a score of approximately 85. I got along like a fish in water when I was at school. Girlfriends are changing one after another. Jing Gao shook his head, and out of the corner of his eye, he suddenly saw 3 girls eating hot pot and joking at the dining table next to the wall. One of the girls wore a beautiful hair clip, a white T-shirt, jeans, about 10 years old, snowy skin and jade face, exceptionally beautiful. Jing Gaodun felt a palpitating sensation in him. Of course, he was well aware that this was not love at first sight, but a normal man's reaction. Liking beautiful women. Moreover, he has just become a divine hero. He has such low-end and vulgar needs as houses, luxury cars, and beautiful women. Jing Gao pondered for a moment, but did not go up to chat up. Perhaps he will go a few years younger. Get up and go to the bathroom to drain water. When washing hands, look at yourself in the mirror. 1.78 meters tall, with a bulky figure and a face so plump that you can't see the elegance and handsomeness of high school. The hair is unkempt and a bit long. wearing affordable shirts and jeans. If we try to strike up a conversation, we will definitely fail. There is still a considerable chance of being ridiculed. When we quit our job, we should consider losing weight. Jing Gao was drying his hands at the phone dryer, and couldn't help but think about the infinite card. His unlimited card has some differences from the tricks in the online article. Firstly, he doesn't have a system here. Money can be spent freely, but skills, personal cultivation, social status, and so on can only be obtained through one's own efforts. Especially in terms of appearance, it's impossible to perform such a flirtatious operation as charm plus 2. But correspondingly, he does not have those task failure penalties, nor does he have daily salary limits, spending restrictions, and so on. This unlimited card can be swiped any way you want. Donation and waste are at his mercy. The only concern is that his large spending will eventually attract the attention of others. He must have a successful career to explain. Losing weight and pursuing a career, let's think carefully after resigning from our job. Jing Gao returned to his seat, and by this time, the hot pot had already been eaten 7 or 8 times. He ate up all the fat cattle, lamb, and beef, leaving only potatoes and cabbage floating in the pot. "Sir, are you serving fruit now?" said the waitress kindly. Jing Gao waved his hand and said, "No need, let's settle the bill." "Wait a moment. The total is 423 yuan. Jing Gao opened his mobile phone Alipay and scanned it for her. After confirming the payment, he transferred 1 million yuan from the bank card of the Cosmos Bank to his Alipay. Nowadays, mobile payments are becoming more popular, and daily consumption is more convenient than swiping a card. "Welcome to visit again." The 3 girls next to me looked at Jing Gao's back. A person muttered softly, "Oh, that chubby guy has such a big appetite." Jing Gao looks at beautiful women, how could others not have noticed? The girl with her beautiful hair clip-on chuckled and said, "Ying, don't let anyone hear you." Jing Gao went out of Taiku Hui and was too lazy to squeeze the subway. He stopped a taxi on the roadside and headed back to Qingzhong village in Shunning district. The road in Beijing is very congested at this point, and it is estimated to take 2 hours to go back. But the subway must be as crowded as a can of sardine. In contrast, he would rather take a taxi. Ignoring the taxi driver's eloquent skills, Inoue used his phone to search for the store address and related information of the famous watch Patek Philippe. Patek Philippe is recognized as the best top-level watch brand in the world. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. I go by a watch. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. I go by a watch, Building 1, number 23 Qianmen East Street, Beijing. As a pure and 27-year-old Jiao Silk, Jing Gao is not very interested in famous watches. According to the viewpoint seen in the online article, it is said that playing with a watch is more expensive than playing with a car. Those who collect famous watches are people who are wealthier than those who collect luxury cars. He bought the watch because it will be useful tomorrow. Storing the address of Patek Philippe in his phone, and seeing the taxi stuck at another intersection, Jing Gao didn't feel the same restlessness as before. He had too much to do now. For the first time being a god, a new life needs to be explored. What used to be something that could only be thought of can now be done. Jing Gaodian opens a home buying app to browse the available properties in Beijing. This is what he is truly interested in. He doesn't know what the first thing someone does when they have money. Anyway, with a small amount of money in his pocket now, what he is most interested in is houses. He has been living in this city for 5 years since graduating from university, but he is still unfamiliar with the city. For example, there is delicious food and fun things there. He has no idea at all. Of course, there will be no emotional attachment to this city. But which young person working in a big city doesn't have the dream of buying a house and settling down? Ifu 4 Seasons, Shunning District, with an average price of 98,000 yuan per square meter, average price. Hentai Capital, Donghe District, with an average price of 100,863 square meter, 2 bedrooms and 1 living room of 143.86 square meters, 14.5 million yuan. Ziyan Hall, Sunset District, new houses for sale, average price of 135,000 square meter, for rooms/5 rooms, with a building area of 450.520 m. Jing Gao slowly browsed through the app and sent inquiries to the sales consultants under those houses. According to the basic logic of Shinhao, as long as the house is good, money is not a problem. But the problem is purchase restrictions. Based on the current situation of Jing Gao, only one set can be purchased. No, currently there are no restrictions on companies purchasing residential and commercial projects. It seems that the matter of establishing a company should be put on the agenda as soon as possible. Looking at the house all the way and asking the sales consultant, it was almost 10 p.m. when the car arrived at the entrance of the urban village in Shunning District. Jing Gao paid a fare of 325 yuan and went back to his residence to take a shower and rest. Lianhua Village in Shunning District is a typical urban village. Due to the relatively cheap rent, there are no less than 20,000 Beijing drifters living here. Jing Gaoi slept until after 8 o'clock in the morning before waking up. The 2 roommates who shared the apartment have already gone to work. He finished washing up and had breakfast at the breakfast shop in Lianhua Village. The black Toyota Camry he had arranged with Didi had arrived. "Master, go to number 23 Qianmen East Street." Jing Gao's plan today is to buy a watch first and then go to Henghu Pharmaceutical to discuss matters. The driver of the car was a middle-aged man in his 40s, thin and tall, dressed casually. At first glance, he knew he was driving a private car to run Didi. He took over the conversation and said, "Hey, young man, are you going to buy a watch from Patek Philippe?" "Yes," Inoue gave a polite smile. He generally doesn't enjoy chatting with others. Perhaps this is due to past experiences, he lacks confidence. The driver smiled and didn't take it seriously, driving with concentration. Jing Gao sent a leave message to Luo Jingli first. As for how angry manager Luo will be in the office, he just lazily manages it. The person who is going to resign is just so floating. Just finished sending the text message when the phone rang. "Hello, Mr. Jing. I'm Xiao Qiao from the Purple Rhyme Pavilion," said a crisp and pleasant female voice from inside Hu 3 Kingdoms. Jing Gao looked bewildered and immediately realized that it was real estate sales that he had talked about for a long time on the road yesterday. "Oh, hello," he said. "Mr. Jing said he has time to come and see the house today, and I would like to schedule a specific time with you." After thinking for a moment, Jing Gao thought that Henghu Pharmaceutical should be able to finish the task this morning and said, "Let's have lunch. I have something to do in the Sunset District this morning." "Ah, Mr. Jing, why don't I follow you for a run in the morning and then take you to see the house at noon? These salespeople are really competing to attract customers." Jing Gao thought about it and said, "Okay. Let's meet at the entrance of No. 23, Qianmen East Street." The Ziyan Pavilion is located to the north of the Sunset District, on the edge of the 4th Ring Road. The scenery in the community is pleasant, and all the houses on sale are luxury homes. In the sales department at the entrance, Qiao Shuang asked the supervisor for leave and smiled, stepping on high heels and elegantly carrying her handbag before leaving. The automatic sensing door is closed. Whispering sounds came from behind. A mocking smile flashed across the corner of Qiao Shuang's mouth. She doesn't need to listen to know what those colleagues are talking about behind her back. But when opportunities come, not striving for them, relying solely on ridicule behind the scenes can achieve success. So this is why she was able to sell 2 luxury homes for a commission of 280,000 yuan within 3 months, which exceeded their performance by a large margin. Based on her experience, this Mr. Jing has a strong willingness to make a deal. Qiao Shuang sat in her red BMW X1 in the parking lot, first sent a WeChat friend application, and started the car to leave. Jing Gao arrived at the entrance of Patek Philippe's store and got off the car to see a tall and beautiful woman waiting. I just added WeChat to the car and contacted Xiao Qiao. She cut her hair to the ear, wore a pink silk long-sleeved shirt, and white straight-leg pants. Slim waist, straight and slender legs. A fashionable, light-cooked, and slightly sweet urban beauty. "Hello, Mr. Jing." Xiao Shuang walked over with Xiangfeng and took the initiative to extend her hand to Jing Gao. At the same time, he looked at the man in front of him. "There is a slight suspicion in my heart. Is this outfit too cheap? Sitting on a Toyota Camry, even if it's a driver, it doesn't seem like you can afford a large flat floor. Their lowest apartment in Ziyun Hall is priced at 60 million yuan. But what about Patek Philippe?" Jing Gao glanced at the urban beauty in front of him slightly, and he was indeed a beautiful woman. Grasp her little hand lightly, it is very soft and slippery. He has a need for vulgarity, but he doesn't want to hold someone's hand without quality, just touch it and say, "Hello." Take her to the store of Patek Philippe. According to online leaks, some luxury home saleswomen and clients. If they buy a large apartment at Ziyun Mansion, what a hormone, I have nowhere to place. Walking up the steps, facing each other is a reflection of a wall. With just this one ornament, an imperceptible force rushed towards me. Turning around, there is a more luxurious lobby than a 5-star hotel. There is no hustle and bustle during sales, but rather quietness and elegance. The living room ceiling is extremely high, with dazzling and gorgeous crystal chandeliers arranged, creating a classical and luxurious atmosphere. The sunshine of late spring morning falls on the floor, carrying a fresh fragrance. The furnishings in the hall are filled with an artistic atmosphere one by one. Several guest sofas and coffee tables are arranged in rows to form intangible sales areas. There is a man and two women talking to the salesperson inside. As soon as Jing Gao entered, a woman in a suit standing by welcomed him with a smile on her face. Her appearance was on par with that of Xiao Qiao beside her. She looked at her about 30-year-old sister Fan and smiled, saying, "Both of you, please come this way." Jing Gao nodded. "I am a salesperson at Patek Philippe. You can call me Anne. You two can sit down for a moment and I will explain our Patek Philippe history, brand, and service to you." Jing Gao looked at this luxurious and peaceful environment, feeling very calm in his heart. If he hadn't had the courage to come in before, probably wouldn't he? "Next time. I have something else to do. Can you take me to see my watch first?" "Of course. Sir, this way, please." Annie smiled slightly, gentle and comfortable, matching her beautiful appearance, pleasing to the eye. She had already realized that this gentleman was the real person who wanted to buy a watch. There is a slight change in priority in the language. Xiao Shuang is slightly behind Jing Gao by half a step, very well behaved. Stepping on the heels of high heels. Looking at Jing Gao's determined and calm attitude, the hesitation in his heart had long disappeared. The watches here are as cheap as hundreds of thousands, and as expensive as 1 or 2 million. As for her income, coming alone to Patek Philippe would make her legs tremble. "Mr. Jing. Should I be able to afford the down payment at Ziyun Hall?" She is increasingly looking forward to Mr. Jing's performance next. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Starry Sky Black. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Starry Sky Black. The exhibition hall is on the second floor, but you have to take the elevator to get up. A kind of invisible pressure came over. The imperial sister, whose English name is Anne, pressed the elevator and invited Inoue and Xiao Shuang to step in first. She then stepped in and smiled appropriately, saying, "I don't know what to call this gentleman." Jing Gao replied, "My surname is Jing, the well of the well." In the elevator, a faint fragrance lingers in the nose. Jing Gao seemed to be able to smell the difference in fragrance between Xiao Qiao and Annie. I couldn't help but sigh in my heart. These two are much more beautiful in appearance and physique than the few golden flowers in his small company. He used to talk to the golden flowers in the company and had to consider whether others would approach him. Now, he has two beautiful women accompanying him. He is a 27-year-old single dog, full of ideas and passion for beautiful women. He will naturally come into contact with various beautiful women as long as he goes to consume now. Instead of putting in a lot of thought on how to approach beautiful women. This is the reality of society. Money is not everything, but it will give you certain qualifications. A sigh flashed through Jing Gao's heart. At this point, the elevator also reaches the second floor. Annie led the way. "Mr. Jing, this way, please." In the exhibition hall on the second floor, a famous watch is like an exhibition cabinet. Full of luxurious and elegant style. With full confidence in his heart, Jing Gao followed and calmly and said, "I need a watch of around 2 million yuan that I can wear now. Miss N, what are some good recommendations?" "Okay, Mr. Jing. On your end, please." Annie's face was beaming with a warm smile as she walked up to an exhibition cabinet with Jing and introduced herself. "Mr. Jing, this 6102 R.001 is priced at 2.0783 million yuan. There are several other price ranges that match your requirements. Would you like to try on this one first or take a look at them all before making a decision?" In the exhibition cabinet, the rose gold watch is quietly placed. The dial is black with a diameter of 44 millimeters. It is adorned with the moon and stars, in the shape of a flowing sand. It's like moving the brilliant night sky into the dial. A circle represents the earth, with stars and bright moon hanging above it. Separate the hour hand, minute hand, and second hand. The short lines outline a magnificent picture, giving people a sense of contemplation. Undoubtedly, Patek Philippe values exterior design. "Let's try on this one first," said Jing Gao as he looked at it and felt a bit fond of it. "The good thing does have its own uniqueness. Okay, please wait in the VIP lounge." Annie smiled and gestured, leading Jing Gao and Xiao Shuang to take their seats in the VIP hall. The windows in the VIP lounge are bright, the spacious milky white sofa is soft and comfortable, and the mahogany square coffee table is clean and refreshing. A waiter came over and asked, "May I ask what you two would like to drink?" "We have tea, coffee, and freshly squeezed fruit juice." Jing Gao said, "I'll have a glass of corn juice." Xiao Shuang thought for a moment and said, "I want a cup of Tai Guanyin." After the waiter left, Xiao Shuang gently patted her chest, and the sweet urban beauty looked a bit cute. She said awkwardly, "Mr. Jing, your aura is so calm that I'm almost scratching my teeth. Now I'm finally taking a break." With a small compliment to the beautiful woman, Inoue couldn't help but smile and chatted, "You guys in real estate sales have a much larger amount of money than this, right?" Xiao Shuang gently stroked her beautiful hair in her ear, exuding a gentle and mature beauty charm. She said in a coquettish voice, "Where is that different? A house is a necessity. Famous watches are consumer goods. A $2 million watch requires at least 40 to 50 million yuan in wealth to be purchased and consumed. Of course, successful people like you don't need to consider these things. A famous watch is only used for timing." Jing Gao laughed. "This little flatterer flattered me. It's really comfortable. No wonder everyone wants to have money. Correction. I am not a successful person. I am an employee of a small company." Xiao Shuang rolled her eyes coquettishly, revealing a sweet smile, and obediently said, "Oh." With an expression of, "The customer is God." At this moment, the waiter brought corn juice and Tai Guanyin. Jing Gao smiled and drank the corn juice brought by the waiter, checking the authoritative message on his phone. It seems that he has put on a not very sophisticated beep, slightly frivolous. If you date a girl, you might lose points. Fortunately, he and Xiao Qiao only have a relationship between customers and sales. The road to becoming a qualified superhero is still long. Annie's work efficiency is very high, and she quickly came over with a watch box. The black rectangle is made of walnut wood and is purely handmade. It looks very precious. Annie opened the watch box and stood by the solid wood coffee table, saying warmly, "Mr. Jing, can I show you the effect?" As a salesperson at Patek Philippe, maintaining politeness and smiling is a fundamental quality in treating every customer. When Inoue came in, he was dressed in cheap attire and was equally popular. But for large customers with strong purchasing intentions, it is natural to provide dedicated service. Okay. Jing Gao extended his left hand, and Anne's soft fingers slid over his wrist, creating a fragrant scent. After putting it on, he raised his hand to measure the watch. Taking advantage of the bright sunshine of early summer morning, from his perspective, the stars on the dial are reflected on the black crystal, as if there are twice as many stars, full of hazy beauty. Luxury brands that have been passed down for hundreds of years do have something to offer. A strong palpitations naturally surged in Inoue's heart. To possess it. Patek Philippe is well deserved. That's it. Where can I make the payment? Annie's introduction was crushed by these words, but she was happy and smiled. "Mr. Jing, let's go to the first floor. Additionally, due to exchange rate issues, our prices are slightly higher than those in Geneva. Please understand. But I assure you, our Patek Philippe is always adding value." "I understand. Next, swipe your card to pay at the counter on the first floor." Jing Gao used the card from Universe Travel. "Enter the password, sign it, and it's all done in one go." The cashier smiled sincerely and presented her bank card with both hands. "Sir, please keep your bank card safe," she said. "Take it over from Jing Gao, fill out personal information, register as a member, apply for a VIP card, and sign." Listen to Annie's explanation of after-sales service matters and daily maintenance precautions. Jing Gao said, "I have something else to do. Leave me your contact information and you can send me all of this. I'll look back." Anne, dressed in a black suit, of medium height and graceful figure, said sharply as a capable senior sister, "Then I'll add you on WeChat and send you my hair back." Okay. Jing Gao thought it was over when the waiter next to him came over with a gift box. Annie said softly, "Mr. Jing, this wallet is a small gift from our store. I hope you like it. There are many types of gifts for Patek Philippe. There are ballpoint pens, commemorative coins, leather bags, watch boxes, magnifying glasses, scarves, ties, cufflinks, brooch ashtrays, gloves, travel bags, golf bags, and so on." She found Inoue's wallet very ordinary, so she decided to give it as a gift. Jing Gao smiled and said, "Thank you." He took over. Wearing a watch on his wrist, Jing Gao carried a paper bag and walked out of the Patek Philippe Source mansion with Xiao Qiao under Anne's enthusiastic farewell. In the early summer sky, white clouds float. The unique urban silence of mid-week mornings is transmitted. Jing Gao raised his wrist and looked at the watch. It was 10:10:10. A very pleasant shopping experience. He felt like he had learned something and received a little baptism. At least it can be considered an increase in experience. Xiao Shuang followed Jing Gao, wearing white straight-leg pants and 5-centimeter high heels, which made her legs look even longer. She coquettishly said, "Mr. Jing, where are you going next? I'll drive you there." She has now confirmed that this person must be able to afford the down payment of Xi'an Pavilion. Before entering, she was looking forward to Inoue's performance. And Inoue directly bought a $2 million watch. This is her big client. Upon hearing her mention of having a car, Jing Gao gave up his plan to call Didi and politely said, "Could you please? I'll go to Longhu Building. The props are in hand, it's time to get down to business." End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Making Friends. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Making friends. In the morning of the capital, the main roads in the Sunset area are bustling with traffic, creating a bustling urban landscape. Xiao Qiao poses with a red BMW X1, while the phone resting on the support pole navigates through the Gouda map. The voice of Xiao Yu was coming from inside. Today I'll tell you something. Jing Gao sat in the back seat. The co-pilot of other people's cars is generally not allowed to sit. He still understands this worldly wisdom. Through the friend application sent by Annie, Jing Gao immediately switched to Do Not Disturb mode, and began to discuss the next steps. In his 27-year life, he had never attempted to negotiate a business contract with anyone, especially one that had already been terminated. He is just a job in art and design. However, he was confident that he could do it this time. The Longhu building, located on the southern section of Qingyan Road, was first built in 2010 and has a total of 40 floors. A sky blue glass curtain wall is used throughout the building, making it a rather imposing landmark in the bustling Sunset area. When Xiao Qiao's car was parked in the outdoor parking space on the roadside, Zhang De, the deputy manager of the procurement department of Henghu Pharmaceutical Group, was walking into the office area on the 30th floor from the elevator. He has just returned from the meeting upstairs. Henghu Pharmaceutical Group is an A.share listed company with a market value of 1.2 billion yuan. Mainly engaged in medical equipment and medicine. This market value cannot be compared to the market value of industry leaders, which can easily reach tens of billions, but it also has considerable strength among private enterprises in the Sunset District. There are hundreds of employees under its jurisdiction, and their offices are located on the 29th to 32nd floors of Longhu Building. Hello, Manager Zhang. Good morning. Zhang De remained steadfast and did not respond to any greetings along the way. This is his work style. Don't think that if you get close, I will remember you. It's not necessary. Doing a good job is much stronger than superficial effort. Zhang De, the deputy manager of the procurement department, can be considered a middle-level cadre in the group. The annual salary and year-end bonus amount to over 800,000 yuan. Sitting in this position at the age of 31, he is undoubtedly very proud in his heart. Zhang De has an independent office on the 30th floor. As soon as he sat down to take a sip of water, the phone on his desk rang. Do people from Hake Company want to see me? No. Zhang De frowned as he listened to the phone call from the receptionist. Didn't he already explain it clearly to the people from Hake yesterday? I won't give them the list for this external bidding. He is the vice president of Hake Company. Zhang De thought for a moment and said, please invite him in. He hung up the phone and pondered slightly while holding a water glass. The vice president of Hake personally came over, and the meaning is still very clear. He is the deputy head of the department, handling this $1 million order, and it's not easy to offend people too much. There have always been many tricks in the procurement department. In the workplace, one can pretend to be domineering and arrogant when facing others. But both internally and externally, it is still important to plant more flowers and fewer thorns. Without this realization, he could not have sat in this position. Jing Gao followed the front desk to the 30th floor with Xiao Qiao, who was impersonating his secretary. Didi. The front desk swiped open the glass door of the office area with a work card, took the two of them to Zhang De's office, and pushed the door in. Zhang De stood up to greet Jing Gao, who was 1.78 meters tall and chubby. He instantly changed color and said, "Aren't you the employee of Hake?" His memory is quite good. I have had several meetings with the team from Hake and have some impression of Jing Gao. Ah. The front desk girl suddenly looked a bit dumbfounded. Emotion is someone who deceives her. Subconsciously, she turned her head to look at Xiao Shuang half a step behind Jing Gao. She believed in Jing Gao's identity only when she saw Xiao Shuang dressed fashionably, tall, and beautiful. Jing Gao didn't panic and said, "In order to see the exhibition manager, I had to make this decision. I brought a gift for the exhibition manager." He glanced at Xiao Qiao. Zhang De frowned. What gift can a clerk have that catches his eye? Put on an airs. With a mocking glance at Jing Gao, he took the small box handed by the tall and beautiful woman. Seeing the Patek Philippe logo on the box, my eyes couldn't help but jump. Have you never eaten pork or seen a pig run? He has never purchased a famous watch, but he still recognizes the logo of Patek Philippe. After all, mature men need a watch. He has paid attention to the watch aspect. Upon seeing this, Xiao Shuang gave a timely and sweet smile and said, "Manager Jean, I just accompanied Jing Xiao to the store at 23 Tianmen East Street to buy it." Jean de opened the box and looked at the watch inside, which was undoubtedly genuine. There was also an invoice deliberately placed with an official seal inside, and the number on it surprised him. 2 million. The furrowed brow was smoothed out, and with a light cough, he said, "Xiao Jin, go ahead and get busy first." He sent the receptionist away. His face had changed to a welcoming smile and he said, "Negligent, please sit down." While greeting, Jean de carefully handed the watch box to Xiao Shuang and poured tea to entertain the guests. How dare he accept such a valuable gift before he knows what's going on? "My name is Jing Gao." Jing Gao smiled in his heart, and the props belonged to him. He had no intention of giving the watch to Jean de. It is obvious that people who engage in procurement have a clear understanding in their hearts. He took the tea poured by Jean de and placed a disposable paper cup on the coffee table, saying, "Can the exhibition manager listen to me explain a few words about Hake's bidding?" Jean de sat on the nearby sofa, leaning forward slightly, and politely said, "Mr. Jing, what do you say? A person who can afford 2 million watches has a certain level of financial strength and wealth, and he has been in society for many years. The person in front of him deserves a respectful and polite attitude. Moreover, the order he handled is only worth 1 million yuan, which is only enough to buy half a watch." Jing Gao said, "Yesterday, the exhibition manager received the information, and those pictures were the problems that were previously exposed by Hake. The quality control is now very strict. Your company sent someone to inspect Hake before, and I believe the exhibition manager has a clear idea. Therefore, I hope the exhibition manager can reconsider allowing Hake to participate in tomorrow's bidding. Some things are boring when spoken through. Jing Gao is very clear that Hake's previous encounter was caused by competitors. It's hard to say whether this exhibition manager has taken advantage of his competitors." Jean de laughed and said, "Mr. Jing, my colleague went to Hake for inspection before and gave a very high evaluation. If it weren't for those materials, I would have settled now and used Hake for this purchase order. I won't accept the gift, it's too expensive. Personally, I'm making friends with Mr. Jing. Look, this is the human spirit. Okay, thank you very much. Let's have tea together another day." Jing Gao took out his phone and dialed Jean de's phone number, added contacts, and stood up to shake hands with him. Jean de smiled as he approached the elevator and waved goodbye. Watching the elevator door close, I excitedly rubbed my hands and walked back to the office. Who does the company order for, not for? Hake's quotation is already the lowest, otherwise he wouldn't have advised Hake to withdraw in advance. Why does Mr. Jing work as an employee in a small company? He doesn't want to figure it out. But he knew that the favor of a wealthy man was very valuable to him. The elevator leads directly to the first floor. Just as she stepped out of the elevator and stepped on the smooth marble floor, Xiao Shuang couldn't help but cover her mouth and smile coquettishly, her voice ringing like a silver bell. "Cluck, Mr. Jing, the exhibition manager just now was arrogant and respectful, like a chameleon. He really laughed at me." "Manager Jean is a personal genius," said Jing Gao with a smile. "He has been beaten up by society. Be tolerant and understanding of behavior that is both arrogant and respectful. And isn't he also a beneficiary? If Manager Jean is an iron child or a greedy dog, what will happen to him?" Xiao Shuang gave a thumbs up and said, "Mr. Jing, your demeanor in discussing things just now was really handsome." Jing Gao smiled happily, knowing that Xiao Qiao was flattering, but still feeling relieved. Take out your phone and transfer 5,000 yuan to her on WeChat. Some compensation. Don't refuse. Without your cooperation, I might not have been able to handle this smoothly today, he said. This is the truth. He didn't deviate from the overall framework, but things wouldn't go so smoothly without the help of Xiao Qiao, a beautiful woman, to stand on stage and support the scene. Then I won't refuse. Xiao Shuang happily put away her phone and led a paper bag as her attendant. Mr. Jing, where are we going now? There is a hint of closeness in words. Jing Gao raised his hand to check the time. At 11:15, he said, you go get the car first. I'll make a phone call. Then find a place to eat, and then go see the house. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Shunning District Science and Technology Park is lined with small buildings with 6 or 7 floors amidst the greenery. The street is empty without a single person. The environment is elegant and quiet. Hake Company is located on the 5th floor of Building 21 in the Science Park. As a pure food e-commerce company, their staff is not many. About 20 people. The leading enterprise in the food e-commerce industry is the Three Squirrels. It was valued at 4 billion yuan in 2015 and had sales of several billion yuan. Hake's annual sales revenue is around 10 million yuan. Belongs to the younger brother in the industry. Hake has rented an office space on the 5th floor. There is also a startup company that specializes in mobile software across the street. At around 11 o'clock in the morning, the incident of project manager Lao Luo getting angry spread throughout the company. The project manager is equivalent to a minister in the company structure of Hake. Going up there is the vice president and general manager of the company. Yesterday, Lao Luo's purchase order with Henghu Pharmaceutical failed. He had a summary meeting this morning, but his group's Jing Gao sent a text message requesting leave this morning. This is amazing. Who will you eliminate if you don't turn around? Following that, there were also some rumors circulating in various communication groups of the company. Roughly speaking, it is about Jing Gao's poor performance in this project, which has dragged the team down. The workstations of Tianyi and Tang Yunhan are adjacent. The rumors in the group were all released by Tianyi. He poured 2 cups of water back and placed them next to Tang Yunhan's hand. He chuckled softly and said, Yunhan, can we have lunch together? After returning last night, he invited Tang Yunhan, the golden flower of the company, to have a meal together, and now he wants to strike while the iron is hot. Tang Yunhan wore a long beige dress and a jacket today, with a relaxed and lively style, and said, okay. The project failed, and the prize money was ruined. She happily agreed when someone invited her to dinner. Ask, where is Lao Wu? Tianyi pointed to the conference room and said, I called manager Luo to have a conversation. It's probably still about this project. Hey, Jing Gao is probably going to be fired. What do you think of him? He's on leave today. Tang Yunhan had a sarcastic smile on his face. Yesterday, Jing Gao got off the car, which made her feel uncomfortable. While the two of them were talking, manager Luo was also talking to old Wu about the failed project of Henghu in the conference room. At the oval conference table, 2 people sit adjacent to each other. Smoke enveloped. Lao Wu, our company's situation is heavy sales. As an old employee, you should be very clear about what losing these 1 million orders means. Old Wu is an old fogey. Holding a cigarette in his hand, he said. Manager Luo, look at my performance in the second half of the year. In fact, the failure of this project is not that we are not doing well enough, but that the opponent is playing a bad trick. Manager Luo, who is 34 years old and fat, looked at old Wu with encouragement in his eyes. Old Wu said again, of course, this reason cannot be justified in front of Mr. Wei. The responsibility still needs to be borne by someone. As a quality control personnel, if there is a problem with Jing Gao, he should bear the responsibility. We cannot implicate the entire project team alone. The rule of the workplace is: friends who die will not die from poverty. Manager Luo patted Lao Wu's shoulder and exclaimed, "Lao Wu, I am also saddened to have such a careless employee in the company." At this moment, Luo Jingli's phone on the conference table suddenly rang. Luo Jingli saw that it was the number of Jing Gao. After waiting for 2 seconds, he finally connected and said in a wicked voice, "What's going on?" His suppressed anger was conveyed through these small details. "Manager Luo, I have already discussed the supply contract with the exhibition manager of Henghu Pharmaceutical. Please contact him and arrange for someone to come and sign the contract." "Do." "Hang up the phone." Manager Luo's veins jumped on his forehead and he laughed angrily. This kid casually said that he had agreed on the contract, called to assign him a task, and even dared to hang up his phone voluntarily. If he doesn't fire this kid, he'll write Luo upside down. Old Wu smoked and said with a smirk, "I'm afraid Jing Gao has lost his mind. Will the exhibition manager of Henghu Pharmaceutical discuss the contract with him?" Manager Luo nodded and walked back and forth in the conference room twice, extinguishing the cigarette in his hand. He called Jean De and a smile naturally appeared on his face. "Jean Manager, hey, it's me. Manager Luo, you have capable people under your command. Alright, come to Longhu building this afternoon and we'll sign the supply contract." "What?" Manager Luo was holding his phone, and De Bing's face was filled with confusion. What did he hear? Jing Gao really made a deal. Lei Yushio Laowu, sitting in the metal office soft chair, also has a dull face. Jean De's voice reached his ears very clearly. But how could this be possible? What kind of person is Jing Gao? He's not sure yet. What was his mockery of Jing Gao just now? Old Wu's cigarette fell onto his pants, causing a big hole to burn. With a hiss, he hurriedly stood up. Manager Luo woke up from his daze and said in a chorus, okay. Thank you. Hanging up the phone, Manager Luo rubbed his face hard, but his smile couldn't be concealed. Strode out of the conference room. As for Lao Wu, who is impatient to take care of him now. Luo Jingli clapped his hands and said in a high voice, "Everyone, just now Jing Gao won the contract for 1 million yuan order from Henghu Pharmaceutical. Everyone, come on. This is the corporate culture of Hake. After winning a big order, you have to shout in the office and work hard together." In an instant, there was silence in the office. Many people subconsciously look at computers. What did I say in the group just now? Tian Yi and Tang Yunhan exchanged a glance, unable to conceal their shock. What's going on here? Jing Gao took a leave this morning and went to do it. Then, everyone applauded. I'll go. One cannot judge by appearance. What a fierce person has emerged from Hake. Pop 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 pop. Some people have a slight pain in their faces. The red BMW is like a nimble fish weaving through the lane, moving smoothly towards its destination. The place to eat is recommended by Qiao Shuang, a famous Japanese restaurant. Jing Gao sat in the back of the car chatting with her about delicious food when he received a call from Manager Luo. Manager Luo. "Ha, what's your name, Manager Luo?" "Just call me Lao Luo." "Jing Gao, I didn't know you went to work this morning and your attitude on the phone was not good. I apologize to you." Jing Gao couldn't help but curl up his lips and said obediently, "Lao Luo, can I get a bonus if I make things happen?" "Yes, of course there is. After signing the contract this afternoon, I will apply to Mr. Wei for a reward of 50,000 yuan for this order." Luo Pengzi is not a fool either. Jing Gaoning must have resources or capabilities to handle Henghu medicine, and such subordinates are worth investing heavily in and attracting. Jing Gao smiled and said, "Lao Luo, I've been a bit tired lately and plan to take a week off. What did you say about taking leave? Paid leave. 10 days. I approved it. Jing Gao said, thank you. Additionally, I have reported 2 things to the company under my real name. Firstly, in last year's order with Jiayue Electronics, salesperson Tian Yi accepted a bribe of 30,000 yuan from the other party, which lowered the company's quotation. Secondly, Lao Wu, who is responsible for contacting production, has opened an online store on Taobao and JD.com, using the company's channels to obtain and sell goods. The name of the online store is Old Wu Couple Store. I'm afraid of a net profit of over 200,000 yuan per year, I will report to Mr. Wei. Don't worry, there will definitely be a result. Hanging up the phone, Jing Gao felt relieved and put down his phone. At this moment, the red BMW X1 is slowly passing through a bright and dark street. The buildings on both sides are not high, and the late spring sunshine falls on the shop signs and pedestrians. Wudong leaves are dancing in the spring wind, and the quiet and fresh life breath is coming. Time is so beautiful. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Food Experience. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Food Experience. Bang. Xiao Shuang parked her car in a parking spot on the roadside, closed the car door, and introduced with a smile, Mr. Jing, here we are. This Japanese restaurant has a good reputation. The average cost per person is about 1,000 yuan. Mr. Jing treats guests to a meal, and she cannot treat people as unjust leaders. First, point out the average person. In places with expensive Japanese cuisine, an average of 8,000 yuan per person is acceptable. And this price range is just right. Jing Gao looked up at the Japanese food store on the street, with a plaque reading, Baotai Japanese Food. Follow Xiao Qiao into the elegant environment inside. The decoration style is a beige Japanese style. 2 chefs were dressed in white uniforms, with only a patch of green skin cut from their hair, which was quite distinctive. The seats in the lobby are mostly full. Business is very hot. Xiao Qiao has a reservation. After checking, the waiter wearing an apron politely reached out and said, this way, please. Sitting at a small table for 2, Xiao Qiao handed a menu to Jing Gao and recommended, the foie gras sushi, grilled beef, and well-done pine leaf crab legs from Baotai are all must-have dishes. That's it all, Inoue smiled and flipped through the menu, ticking off all the recommended dishes. His previous salary was a feast to eat from Hai Di Lao. I haven't eaten the Japanese food above the horizontal line yet. Just now, I had a great appetite chatting with Xiao Qiao in the car. Moreover, he just reported those 2 goods in the company, and Lao Luo promised to handle them. He was in a good mood. Xiao Qiao reminded, Mr. Jing, this is a bit too much for the 2 of us to finish eating. With both emotions and reason, she should stop her. The amount of Japanese food is small. I have a big appetite, Jing Gao waved to the waiter to hand it over and place the order. After the juice and tea are delivered, the first 3 appetizers are served. Pine leaf crab legs, medium cooked, pufferfish white roe, anglerfish liver. The pine leaf crab legs are a bit sweet when taken in one bite. The taste of pufferfish baizi is like eating ice cream, refreshing, mellow, with a delicate and thick blend. The sweet stew of anglerfish liver. Jing Gao is not interested in the signature dish of Baotai, pine leaf crab leg, medium mature. On the contrary, he loves pufferfish and white rice the most. He also dabbled in anglerfish liver. For more sashimi. 2 tuna belly and 2 sashimi platters. There is nothing special about various sashimi platters, according to Xiao Qiao's evaluation. They are particularly fresh. Anyway, Inoue didn't eat it. But, tuna belly, is indeed delicious. The taste is delicate, and there is a sense of happiness that melts into the mouth between the lips and teeth. 6 hot dishes. Specially made 3-day crispy silver cod, grilled beef with charcoal, grilled throat black fish with charcoal, baked oysters with Japanese sauce, fried beef with fragrant sauce, and sea urchin tempura. Jing Gao is particularly interested in meat and has long heard of the names of RB and cattle. I ordered 2 types and cows separately. The taste did not disappoint him. The meat is delicate, and when biting down, it feels like a knife cutting into butter without any obstruction, while the beef in the mouth is soft and full, filling the mouth. Combined with fragrance and seasoning, the delicious taste mixed in the mouth is truly an excellent enjoyment. Jing Gao took a sip of lemon juice and leaned comfortably in the seat, feeling comfortable. Seeing this, Xiao Qiao smiled sweetly and said, "Mr. Jing, Bao Tai here can be said to be the benchmark in the Japanese cuisine I have tried. There is no better place than this." Jing Gao smiled and praised, "Under the fame, there is no illustrious scholar. It is indeed very good." He took out his phone, flipped through Jianping, and took a look at the restaurant's food reviews. Then taste the crisp silver cod, oysters, and throat black fish. Each one has its own unique features. Among them, sea urchin and tempura are very outstanding, and the degree of frying is just right. Sea urchins are very fragrant, while tempura is thin and crispy. The dishes were served one by one, and the waiter came quietly and gently to collect the empty dishes, creating a very comfortable dining environment. 2 portions of signature cabbage goose liver sushi are served. Xiao Qiao warmly recommended, "Mr. Jing, try this sushi. It's the best foie gras sushi I've ever tasted, not one." Jing Gao picked it up with chopsticks and took a bite. The seaweed was crispy and the foie gras oil was rich, providing an exceptional sense of satisfaction to the taste buds. I ate a meal for over an hour. The light, low-salt, and low-sugar Japanese cuisine above the standard level provides Jing Gao with a great culinary experience. As a Chinese, Jing Gao naturally has a bit of confidence in food. World cuisine is in China. What a foodie empire! It seems that Japanese cuisine and Western cuisine are truly unique in their ability to make a name for themselves in the world. He will try more in the future. Of course, the people who dine together are also important. Xiao Qiao has a beautiful and slightly sweet appearance, with a fashionable and light-cooked temperament. She is good at chatting and adds a lot of color to this meal. The last soup is wild abalone clear soup. Jing Gao drank the last sip of soup with satisfaction, wiped his mouth with a damp towel, and called the waiter, "Hello, pay the bill." "Sir, wait a moment." After swiping the card and paying at the front desk, Jing Gao put the red unlimited bank card in his wallet and calmly glanced at the cashier receipt. The total consumption is 3,872 yuan. The service fee is 200 yuan. Jing Gao couldn't help but think of the billing statement of a restaurant in the Magic City that was exposed on Weibo a while ago, totaling 400,000 yuan and a service fee of 40,000 yuan. I wonder if this service fee is a common phenomenon in the high-end catering industry. If there is a chance, he can give it a try. Previously, he could only watch the excitement, but now he can go and experience it firsthand. Xiao Qiao is waiting at the entrance of Bao Tai Japanese cuisine. A fashionable urban beauty carrying a khaki-colored small bag is quite eye-catching. Especially the white straight-leg pants and high heels make her legs appear even more slender and straight. Long-legged beauty. "Mr. Jing." Xiao Qiao smiled coquettishly and met Jing Gao. As they finished their accounts and left, there were also customers waiting in the lobby, brushing their eyes several times and staring at Jing Gao. The well's height of 1.78 meters is quite good. Northern men are generally taller. He is only considered average. But the body shape is a bit shapely, chubby. Men are wealthy and women are beautiful. The people around quickly came to a conclusion. In fact, many details may not necessarily support this viewpoint, but people are willing to believe what they believe. Jing Gao naturally felt it when he looked around. It has to be said that beautiful women are indeed the face of men. A sharp tool of the Zhetai type. Xiao Qiao is a beauty of this level. Let's go and see the house at Ziyun Hall. Xiao Shuang gave a heartfelt smile and said, Spending the whole morning can be considered as pulling the big clients and leading the way in high heels. Ziyun Pavilion is also located in the Sunset District, behind the Central Commercial District. Turning from the bustling commercial district, the spacious 8-lane road is lined with green trees. The vehicles are slightly sparse. The surrounding environment has a rare urban tranquility. Xiao Shuang slowed down the car and introduced, Mr. Jing, this is a luxurious residential area in the Sunset District, all of which are several hundred square meters of apartments. The average price of second-hand houses starts at 100,000 yuan, while new houses are priced at over 130,000 yuan. Look at the lighting on the balcony here. Jing Gao looked out the car window, and to his right were tall buildings with wide gaps. The sunlight from early April poured down on the azure glass. Each ultra-long balcony is bathed in the bright afternoon sunshine of late spring. Quiet, spacious, and sunny, a low-key sense of luxury fills one's face. Xiao Shuang's red little BMW drove into the Purple Charm Pavilion, lined with luxury houses. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Ziyun Hall. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Ziyun Hall. Driving through the quiet and marble-carved entrance of the Purple Rhyme Pavilion, turning left leads to a magnificent sales center. Xiao Shuang parked the car and walked into the luxurious sales center with Jing Gao. Welcome to Ziyun Hall. The sales receptionist bowed and bowed. The hall is covered with a red carpet, and the two-story hall is adorned with magnificent furnishings, creating a luxurious and comfortable atmosphere. Jing Gao was led to the waiting area for a moment to sit. A salesperson wearing a dark blue suit brought over a cup of warm water. Over there, amidst the congratulations in the eyes of her colleagues, Xiao Shuang said to the supervisor, took the key and door card, and took Jing Gao out to see the house. This time she didn't drive her own car, but switched to the company's Porsche Cayenne. The sky blue SUV has smooth body lines and is full of fashionable and dynamic feel. Jing Gao's heart twitched slightly as he sat in the car. How many men don't love cars? This is his first time getting up close to a luxury car. Even though he had seen it on the street before, as a big man, he couldn't just take a photo or touch it, could he? That scene is too eye-catching. Later tonight, I will ask Mr. Xie where is more suitable to buy a car in Beijing. As a native of Beijing, Xie Dashao should be very familiar with it. He is a divine hero, not a scapegoat. There is a plethora of negative information about online manufacturers and distributors. Even Maserati has been recalled. Xiao Shuang first took Jing Gao for a rough walk in the vast residential area. Mr. Jing, there are two phases of our Ziyun Pavilion. Currently, we are selling the second phase of existing houses. There are 3 40-story buildings, one for each household, with 3 elevators and one for each household. There are 42 units available for sale, and there are 2 types of units available. One is a 453 square meter apartment, and the other is a 517 square meter apartment. The main difference lies in the external landscape and structural layout. I'll take you up and take a closer look. Xiao Shuang introduced the entire project in the simplest language possible. Based on her years of sales experience and a morning of interaction and understanding, she has adopted the most suitable sales strategy. Go straight. Hospitals, schools, shopping, transportation, plot ratio, green area, and property fees are all temporarily omitted. Jing Gao said, let's just look at the large layout. Xiao Shuang smiled sweetly and said, okay. She parked her car on the roadside of the community. Bring the well up to Building E. The properties for sale are located on the 35th floor. Rough room. There is a huge sense of emptiness when you walk in. Living in a cramped long-term apartment, Jing Gao stands in the living room, giving off a feeling of broad vision. And then to the ultra-long balcony that I just saw on the road. More than 10 meters long with a slight curvature, the urban scenery outside is breathtaking. The balcony of Building E in Xi'an Pavilion faces a large park with mountains, lakes, and lush greenery. The grass is as lush as grass. I saw someone playing football on the grass on the tall building. This is life. Xiao Shuang stood playfully at the entrance of the living room, wearing high heels, a pink silk shirt, and white straight-leg pants. She smiled and said, "Mr. Jing, you can decorate the balcony with floor-to-ceiling glass and set up a small seat. Having afternoon tea with your girlfriend here, overlooking the beautiful scenery of the Central Park, the mountains, waters, and culture come into view. What you said is quite visual. It's just that I don't have a girlfriend yet." Jing Gao smiled and made up his mind, turning his head to ask, "Xiao Qiao, how did this house sell?" Xiao Shuang's smile became increasingly sweet. "It's so refreshing, truly worthy of being a wealthy consumer, like buying groceries." A crisp voice said, "Mr. Jing, the price for Unit B in Building E is 160,000 yuan per square meter. The total price is 82.72 million. We can offer you a discount of up to 82 million yuan. You have been on Social Security in Beijing for at least 5 years and have not purchased a house. You will need to make a 30% down payment. I'll calculate. I talked about this information on the app last night." Jing Gao waved his hand and stopped Xiao Qiao from flipping through his phone in his handbag, saying, "I'll pay in full. Also, this is still a rough house. Do you have any good designers to recommend?" Xiao Shuang was taken aback. Full payment. Are you serious? She has overestimated this, Mr. Jing, as much as possible. After all, it only took less than 5 minutes to buy a luxury watch worth over 2 million yuan. This is the master of good money. She was not very clear about the details of going to Longhu Building for business, but her calm demeanor was not fake. She came out to praise him for being really handsome, with a touch of flattery and mostly sincere. Successful men are very charming. So she obediently waited for him in the foyer during Bao Tai's meal. However, she still underestimated it. What financial resources is it to pay the full amount of 82 million yuan for a luxury mansion? At least 1 billion yuan in wealth. The moat is inhumane. Xiao Shuang regained her composure a few seconds later, her pretty face beaming with a gentle and charming smile, and her voice soft as she said, "Okay. The contract will be signed at the sales building. I guarantee you will receive the door key this afternoon." Jing Gao smiled and nodded. He really has no intention of pretending to be forced in front of Xiao Qiao. He just doesn't want trouble. How to review his salary income when applying for a bank loan. And it will take at least a month to lend. He wants to get the house as soon as possible. Of course, this casual outfit is much stronger than buying a watch. In interacting with girls, doing so should earn extra points. You can tell from Xiao Qiao's performance. Learned. I feel shallow when I get what I want on paper, but the full package makes me realize it. His path of divine luxury seems to have made some progress. Return to the luxurious sales center once again. Jing Gao was invited to the elegant and quiet small room in the hall, where a girl with good looks came over to inquire. Jing Gao said, "A cup of cola, thank you." The salesgirl said kindly, "Mr. Jing, please wait a moment." Her smile was friendly. Xiao Shuang confirmed Jing Gao's purchase intention, and the sales team of Xi'an Pavilion immediately followed suit. Take a copy of Jing Gao's ID card, download Social Security information, and urgently print a stack of contracts. There is a complimentary parking space available. Jing Gao spent another 1 million to buy 2 parking spaces. They are all downstairs in Building E. Xiao Shuang sat beside Jing Gao, pointing out to him where the contract needed to be signed and stamped. Page by page. At this moment, the sales manager came in with a handheld POS machine. Inoue took out his red unlimited card and swiped it. Didi, the POS machine slowly spat out the receipt. He just tested it when checking out Japanese food, and the unlimited card can be recognized by the POS machine. He doesn't need to go to the ATM specifically to transfer money to the Universal Bank card. He still has this meticulous thinking. At least it has beaten society to this day. As Jing Gao finished collecting his bank card, Xiao Shuang smiled sweetly and said in a coquettish voice, "Mr. Jing, please sit down for a moment. I'll call the design company and ask them to send the best designer to coordinate with you." Line. I haven't finished signing on Jing Gao's side yet. Another female salesperson in a suit and white shirt reminded him to sign there. Just her appearance is not as pleasing to the eye as Xiao Qiao's. Xiao Shuang walked briskly outside the sales building. If this order is completed, there will be a commission and bonus of 150,000 yuan. It's so delightful to think of it. More importantly, Mr. Jing seems to have good senses towards her. She dialed the phone and walked towards the green path. "Jiang Jia, I'm Xiao Qiao. I have a major client who just bought a house in full. He wants someone to decorate it. Jiang Jia, it would be best if you come over in person." End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Learning makes me happy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Learning makes me happy. After completing various procedures, it was already around 4 p.m. when I received the house keys. "Mr. Jing, the property certificate will be issued by the real estate department after you pay the deed tax. The follow-up matters will still be handled by Xiao Qiao. Here is my business card, and you can call me if you have any questions." The sales manager of Xian Pavilion respectfully presented a business card. No salesperson wants to maintain a relationship with a customer after selling the house. How foolish is that? Jing Gao smiled and took it away. Xiao Shuang stood by, with beautiful legs and high heels, and a smiling face. At this moment, she said, "Mr. Jing, would you like to rest here for a while, or do you have any other arrangements? The designer will arrive in about 20 minutes. Jing Gao said, "Let's wait inside the house. The designer needs to take a look in person to come up with the design plan, right?" "Of course. Don't worry." Jiang Jia graduated from the Central Academy of Fine Arts and has been engaged in architectural design for 10 years. Many of the houses in our Xian Museum are designed by her, and she has received high praise from customers. Xiao Qiao drove a sky blue Cayenne and brought Jing Gao back to Building E, introducing the designer's situation to Jing Gao in a coquettish voice along the way. Jing Gao nodded occasionally, only then did he realize the position of the Central Academy of Fine Arts in the industry. "Oh, it seems that the most popular and top-notch architect in China in recent years is Chinese-American Im Pei." Taking the elevator to the 35th floor and once again being in an empty room, Inoue felt a sense of joy in his heart. Looking back at Xiao Qiao, who was following him in a charming and fashionable manner. The tall figure, coupled with high heels, is about 1.75 meters tall, and white straight-leg pants outline a delicate curve. Jing Gao's heart twitched slightly. He felt that the heat was about the same and invited, "Xiao Qiao, do you have time tonight? I'll treat you to dinner." Xiao Shuang looked at Jing Gao and her heart suddenly quickened slightly. "I just bought a house and invited her to dinner tonight, which clearly shows that I wanted to soak her up. She is certainly willing to socialize with him. She is 26 years old this year, not just a little girl in school who only knows how to look at faces. Just now he said he didn't have a girlfriend. But would she appear too casual if she agreed immediately now? She is in this industry and has a very clear reputation for their sales representatives. She doesn't believe that Jing Gao has not heard of it. Does her casual behavior make him look down on her?" Xiao Shuang paused for a moment, lightly stroked her hair in her ear, and smiled, saying, "Mr. Jing, please wait a moment. I'll call my friend to confirm." Of course, Jing Gao could see Xiao Shuang's hesitation and gave a self-deprecating smile, saying, "Forget it." Regret surged in my heart. I had a good conversation with Xiao Qiao. He thought going on a date with her would be natural, but he didn't want to be rejected by her. Her hesitation is actually the most obvious attitude. It's not necessary to force others, is it? Xiao Shuang. No, it's not. That's just an excuse. I'll call you back and tell you that I'm willing to have dinner with you. Isn't that a sign that I value you more? Does it make me appear more like a casual woman? What do you mean by this? Mr. Jing, Xiao Shuang wanted to explain that she was foolish enough to follow the routine of second-rate romance novels. Can't we explain the misunderstanding clearly? This is a billionaire, only 27 years old. How many times in her life can she have such opportunities? At this moment, Xiao Shuang's phone rang and she could only answer the phone first. Jiang Jie, oh, you're here. All right. I'll go down and pick you up. Jing Gao made a gesture, gesturing for Xiao Shuang to go and get things done first. Watching Xiao Qiao leave, he felt a sense of nostalgia in his heart. So, Xiao Qiao's hesitation just now was not that he didn't want to go on a date with him at night, but just a moment of restraint. Jing Gao thought deeper. Why does she have to be reserved? Looking at it from Xiao Qiao's perspective, I pondered for a while and now I understand a bit. This reserved can increase his favor. Moreover, upon further reflection, we can take some initiative in our future interactions with him. Once reserved, there can be a second time. Product. Why did Xiao Qiao think of being reserved? Not afraid of being too reserved and losing his big client. The routine seen online is not like this. Let's ponder over the height of the well. Assuming that he is only looking at the house today and shows enough willingness to purchase, then inviting Xiao Qiao out is likely to be successful. This is the correct routine process. Of course, it depends on whether Xiao Qiao is willing to do this business. Learned. A sense of satisfaction surged in Jing Gao's heart. Learning makes people happy. Buying a watch, buying a mansion, and spending nearly a day with Xiao Qiao, he has gained a lot. Take a small step forward on the road to becoming a qualified god. The elevator door on the 35th floor opens. High heels knocked on the floor. Later, Xiao Shuang accompanied a beautiful woman in her 30s into the living room. She is wearing a goose yellow long-sleeved sweater. The woolen sweater is very close to her body, revealing her curves and displaying the charm of a mature beauty. Paired with black casual pants below. Simple dressing, clean and refreshing, exuding a sense of intellectual beauty. A beautiful woman came one after another. After Xiao Qiao introduced him, he took the initiative to extend his hand and said, "Hello Mr. Jing. It's an honor to serve you." "Hello, Ms. Jiang. You're getting serious." Jing Gao smiled and shook hands with a beautiful woman named Jiang Jingying. Do designers nowadays rely on their faces to make a living? Jiang Jingying is shorter than Xiao Qiao, about 1.7 meters. But the figure curve is better than Xiao Qiao. And her appearance should be better than Xiao Qiao's. It's a bit difficult to distinguish between good looks and bad looks when described in words, but when two beautiful women stand together, it's really clear at a glance. Jing Gao feels that way now. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a system, otherwise he would really want to scan the score of this intellectual and mature beauty. According to his personal estimate, there should be 90 points. Jiang Jingying took out a stack of photos from the file bag she was carrying and smiled, saying, "Mr. Jing, these are some pictures of decoration styles that I have collected. You can pick out the ones you like. Although I have designed many times for Zian Hall, I still want to take a look at the layout in the room, is that okay?" Very professional. Jing Gao said, "Please do as you please." Xiao Shuang accompanied Jing Gao and helped him hold the photo, but hesitated several times. She wanted to explain, but the timing is not right now. Forceful explanation will only leave a negative impression. Jing Gao smiled and focused on picking out the photo, without inviting Xiao Qiao again. At his age, he is full of interest and impulse towards beautiful women. This is very normal. He still maintains his thoughts on Xiao Qiao. Now I also know that Xiao Qiao is willing to go to dinner with him at night. However, he had just thoroughly analyzed Xiao Qiao's thoughts and was more willing to wait for 2 days before making an appointment with her. That would be more appropriate. After more than 10 minutes, Jiang Jingying finished her work and walked over lightly. She wanted to take a good photo from the well. After flipping through it, she smiled gently and said, "Mr. Jing, do you have any requirements for the decoration style of the room?" Jing Gao pondered and said, "Luxurious and introverted, comfortable and natural." Jiang Jingying chuckled and said, "Mr. Jing's choice of words is really meticulous. This is a big challenge for me. I will do my best." Jing Gao smiled and said, "I believe in Ms. Jiang's level. Ms. Jiang, please give me a quote." Jiang Jingying smiled apologetically, as if feeling embarrassed about negotiating the price, and said, "Mr. Jing, I will complete the first version of the design drawings within a week. Then I will send them to you for review until you are satisfied with the modifications. Design cost: 180,000 yuan. After signing the contract, pay a deposit of 20,000 yuan first, and pay the remaining balance after Mr. Jing is satisfied. I am quite confident in my design skills." Jing Gao was about to speak when his phone rang. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Jingxin University. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Jingxin University. Jiang Jingying gently pulled her drooping hair around her ears, exuding an intellectual and gentle charm. Standing quietly on the side. "Sorry, I'll take the call first," Jing Gao said to Jiang Jingying, and answered the call from his friend Xian. "Xie de Xiao. This person can't help but nag." In the afternoon, when he was looking at the house, he thought of calling Mr. Xie tonight to inquire about buying a car. On the phone, Xian said in a decadent tone, "Sigh. Jing Gao, I've been heartbroken. Come out tonight to drink with me." Jing Gao's expression was very calm, and Xie Dasho has been heartbroken too many times. He said, "I saw your social circle last night. I will be at the classmate restaurant in about an hour and a half. Okay, we'll see each other." After hanging up the phone, Inoue said, "Ms. Jiang, let me transfer the deposit to you through WeChat. I have some other matters to attend to later, and we will sign the contract later." Listening to Jing Gao's phone call, Jiang Jingying was originally thinking about what she would say if Jing Gao were to negotiate. She can't smash her own signboard and lower the price to take on the job. But the customer is God. If you can explain, you still need to explain and take down the order. I don't want Jing Gao to be so crisp and neat. Jiang Jingying couldn't help but smile, gentle and bright. Without rushing to collect the money, he reached out and said, "Mr. Jing, thank you for your trust. I will definitely serve you wholeheartedly." Jing Gao smiled and shook her hand, feeling relieved. "I have a better impression of her. To be fair, she has more feminine charm than Xiao Qiao. Of course, it will definitely take more time. Add friends to each other, transfer money to Jiang Jingying, give the key to Xiao Qiao, explain a few words, politely refuse Xiao Qiao to see him off, and go out and take the elevator downstairs." Jiang Jingying and Xiao Qiao escorted Jing Gao out to the elevator entrance together. Watching the elevator go down, he poked Xiao Qiao's arm and whispered, "Hey, he trusts you a lot. You didn't want to take it off." Seeing the small and knowing the true. Xiao Qiao and Jiang Jingying were quite familiar with each other and said dejectedly, "I messed it up." Jiang Jingying covered her mouth and chuckled lightly, her graceful figure trembling slightly. "Let's go. Sister, treat you to a big meal and comfort your wounded soul." Classmate Restaurant is not a high-end restaurant, but an old-fashioned restaurant located at the back door of Beijing University of Information Technology. When Jing Gao and his classmates were studying, they often went to restaurants outside the school to have a tooth festival. And the Classmate Restaurant is the best among many small and medium-sized restaurants. After graduation, this restaurant is still alive. Jing Gao and Xian usually choose this place for their gatherings. Jing Gao took the subway to his alma mater located in Shunning District, also known as Jingxin University. Taking the subway at this point is more punctual than taking the bus. Before he entered the subway, the sunset was still there, and by the time he left the subway, the lights were already on. Neons flicker in the streets behind the back door of my alma mater, with small restaurants and various lifestyle stores filled with the atmosphere of college years. College students wearing spring clothes adorn this brilliant night scene with their youth. Jing Gao sighed in his heart and took off the Patek Philippe watch, kicking it into his pocket. Jing Gao, here. Jing Gao walked into the Classmate Restaurant and Xie Dasho raised his hand at the dining table in the corner and shouted. There are several bottles of beer on the dining table, along with fried peanuts and shredded seaweed to serve. Waiter, you're ready to serve now. Wait a moment. The waitress in a dark blue uniform placed an order at the nearby table and walked over to answer Xian with a smile. Jing Gao smiled and shook his head as he walked over. This is not that the service level of the student restaurant has reached the level of Hai Di Lao, but rather the handsomeness of Xia Anchang. Xie Dasho's chin is shaved clean, his hair is slightly parted, his facial features are handsome, and his skin is fair. A height of 1.8 meters, with a fitness and shaping physique. Plus a branded outfit. It's difficult not to attract the attention of the little girl. Jing Gao opened the disposable film packaged tableware, scalded it with boiling water, picked up a bottle of beer with chopsticks, poured it into a glass, and clinked a glass with Xian. When did it arrive? He and Xie Dasho were roommates for 4 years. Although not at the same social level, how pure university is. He has a similar temperament and personality, and he has a good relationship with Xie Dasho. I'll be strolling around the school this afternoon. There's a shared memory between me and Lon Lon here. Xian, with a nostalgic expression on his face, handed cigarettes to Jing Gao and softened china. He casually pushed Givenchy's lighter over and said with a deep gaze, Jing Gao, I've talked about it and found that love in college is the most beautiful. Correct nonsense. Jing Gao remained silent, smoking and drinking. Listen to Mr. Xie, he only needs one listener. The waiter quickly brought delicious Sichuan cuisine. Beer duck, hot pot beef brisket, dry pot apricot mushrooms, braised pork intestines, and steamed shredded lettuce. Still a familiar taste from college. Jing Gao ate vegetables and drank alcohol, smoked cigarettes, and comforted Xie Dasho with a few words while listening. As the two were drinking, a couple holding hands walked into the restaurant entrance. The man is of medium height, slightly chubby, and wears glasses. Women are petite and delicate, with melon seed faces and delicate appearances. She was wearing a beige lapel shirt and tight-fitting sapphire blue jeans. Clear and charming. She happened to face the slightly tipsy Xie Dasho with 4 eyes, and was slightly taken aback. Then, with a smile, she walked over with her husband and said, Cluck, Xie Dasho, come back to school again to reminisce about the past. My gaze swept over Inoue's face, and I nodded to say hello. Jing Gao was very ordinary during his student days, and he was also very ordinary before receiving an unlimited card yesterday evening. Graduated for 5 years, beaten by society for 5 years. He has no interaction with the Youth League secretary, Flower Blossom Beauty, or active members of Wei Xian's class. Xie Anlu is awkward. He usually goes back to school after a breakup, but Wei is not aware of this. Wei Mimi, what a coincidence, she stood up and said, shaking hands with her husband. Hello, teacher Bai. We both know each other. Otherwise, Wei Kaiyan would come over so enthusiastically to greet Xian, this handsome guy, and go back to file a lawsuit with her husband. Hello, Mr. Xie. Teacher Bai works as a teacher at Jingxin University, and is the head of the office. He pays attention to the situation and first greets Xian, a wealthy young man, before shaking hands with Jing Gao and saying, "Hello, Junior Jing." He is a senior in the School of Management, 2 years in high school. After graduation, he stayed on campus and worked as a counselor for new students at Jing Gao and their normal college. I had contact with Wei Kaiyan, who was a junior at the time, and they got married after graduation. If not strict, it can be called teacher-student relationship. Jing Gao smiled and shook hands with him. "Hello, Teacher Bai." After a few pleasantries, Wei Kaiyan smiled and said, "Xie Das Ho, do you still remember Yu Yuan Kai? A while ago, I had a small gathering with Lon Lon and a few others, and I heard that he is already the head of Xiaomi Mobile, with an annual salary starting from at least 1 million. Hey, I knew he could definitely make it out when I was at school. Teacher Zhao often praises him when conducting experiments. It's really amazing that people from our second-tier universities can make it to Xiaomi's head." Xian's face is a bit unattractive. How did his ex-girlfriend know about Yu Yuan Kai's news? People who are heartbroken are very sensitive. End of this chapter.